Okay, listen up, because this is not your average celebrity scandal. I'm telling you what happened in that courtroom. It wasn't just drama, it was a full-blown unraveling of power, ego, and pain. So picture this. The courtroom, freezing. And not because the AC was blasting. The cold came from the mood. It was like everyone was holding their breath, like the truth was too heavy to even whisper. Reporters, hands trembling, notepads ready. Victims' families, huddled together like they were bracing for a storm. Photographers, frozen, waiting for that shot. Then, creak, the courtroom doors open. And there he was, Sean Diddy Combs. But not the man you're picturing, not the mogul, not the icon. He walked in slowly, like every step weighed 100 pounds. Wearing this dull tan prison uniform, wrists shackled in cold steel, eyes scanning the room, but no arrogance, no defiance, just fear and exhaustion. A man stripped of everything. You could feel it. He didn't wave, didn't speak, he just walked, each step heavier than the last, straight to the defense table where his lawyer sat, ghost white. This wasn't a performance. This was Diddy's reckoning. And the judge, they weren't even in the room yet, but it was already volcanic in there. You know when something's about to blow and everyone feels it? That's exactly what this was. No small talk, no scrolling phones, everyone just waiting. All rise. Boom. The bailiff's voice sliced the air and the judge walked in. Tall, serious, not here to play, especially not with celebrities. As soon as the judge sat down, their eyes locked straight onto Diddy like a predator clocking its prey. And he couldn't even meet their gaze. His eyes dropped. Right there, we all knew there would be no mercy today. Then came the bomb. We are here today for final sentencing in the matter of the state versus Sean Combs. And just like that, game over. This wasn't a show anymore. This was the final act. People leaned in. Reporters hit record. Diddy, he leaned back like a man walking off a plank. No safety net. Just truth and consequences. But no one, and I mean no one, not even his own lawyers, knew what he was about to say. And when he did, the world split in two. His lawyer stood first. Real careful. You could tell this case had broken even him. He wasn't new to high-stakes drama, but this was nuclear. He adjusted his tie and said, "Your Honor, we're not here to deny the seriousness of the charges, but to ask you to see the man behind the headlines." Then the lawyer did something bold. He pointed to a pile of letters from people who had Diddy's back. Former employees, artists, charities. He even read one, handwritten, from a single mom whose child's college tuition was paid by Diddy. Quietly, no press, no fame. You could see people shifting in their seats, curious, conflicted. The room was listening. Then the courtroom screens lit up. A slideshow played. Diddy handing out turkeys on Thanksgiving, hugging his kids at community events. A soft piano soundtrack played. It was like watching a documentary. But the jurors who convicted him, stone, cold, unmoved. The lawyer then dropped the line that hit hard. "If we're truly talking about justice, then let's consider redemption. Rehabilitation over punishment. This isn't a monster. This is a man." He gestured at Diddy, who just sat there, completely still. Not a blink, frozen in time. Then came the list. Oh, the list. $48 million lost in contracts. Every endorsement deal gone overnight. His home raided, live on TV. His kids stalked by paparazzi. Death threats daily. And then bam! When does punishment stop being justice and start becoming vengeance? Some people nodded, others sniffled. But the judge, like a statue, unshaken. The attorney stepped back. That was it. But then, the room flipped, because the judge turned to Diddy and asked, "Mr. Combs, do you wish to speak on your own behalf?" The whole courtroom tensed. A single moment stretched into forever. Diddy looked at his lawyer, got the nod, and stood. "You guys, this wasn't the man we knew. No designer suits, no sunglasses, nothing. Just Diddy. Raw, exposed, shaking." He stepped to the mic and paused. For 10 seconds. Dead silence. Then he finally spoke. "Your Honor, I've been thinking about this moment every night since the day they cuffed me." He said he had practiced what to say 1,000 times, but nothing ever felt right. So today, he was speaking from truth. And then, he opened up like never before. He talked about the life he lived, power, fame, parties that shut down cities. But he said he never planned for this moment. The fall, the mirror, seeing a scared father, a broken son. He said, "People say I'm a narcissist, a manipulator. Maybe I was. Maybe I let fame blind me. But this courtroom, it stripped all that away." Then he turned to the gallery, speaking to those he hurt. "I hear you. I see you. I can't undo what I did. But if I could, I'd go back. I'd change it all. I can't. All I can do is ask for mercy. Not because I'm famous, but because I'm human." It was dead silent. No one breathed. And then, just when you thought he was done, he added, "If you show me mercy, I'll earn it. I'll rebuild something from this wreckage. I'm not asking you to forget. Just believe I can still change." Then he sat back down. Shackles clinked. And that was it. The whole courtroom just sat there, shaken. Even the judge didn't move. They were locked in. And that's where I'll stop for now. The silence after Diddy's plea? It wasn't silence. It was suffocating. Like the air got squeezed out of the room. Not a whisper, not a cough. Even the camera operators were frozen, unsure whether to keep filming or just sit and process what had just happened. And right there, in that quiet, eyes were doing all the talking. In the second row, one woman clutched her purse so tightly her knuckles turned white. She was one of the victim's family. Her glassy stare locked on Diddy's back. Right beside her, a man rubbed his temples slowly. Was it pain, rage, some twisted form of pity? Nobody knew. In the very back, a woman who had testified anonymously weeks earlier, one of Diddy's former employees, was now visible, just watching him. She used to admire him. Now, that look on her face? She didn't know what to believe anymore. One former juror leaned over to a guest and whispered, "That didn't sound like the same guy we heard 3 weeks ago." The room was divided. You could feel it. Half of them were starting to see the man beneath the mogul. The other half? No way. For them, this wasn't a redemption story. This was a reckoning. Then, the moment that felt like time stopped. The judge leaned forward, both hands on the bench, their eyes locked on Diddy, still, calculating. Then came the voice. "Mr. Combs," the judge said, calm but chilling. "You say you want mercy?" Diddy didn't move, didn't even blink. "You want this court to see the man behind the brand, but you asked for that after decades of silence, decades of manipulation. You hid behind money, behind lawyers, behind PR." Pause. The air tightened again. "You asked for mercy today because the walls have finally closed in." The gallery gasped. You could hear the breath get sucked out. "And yet," the judge said, "you speak now with something that resembles honesty. Fear, maybe shame. This court doesn't reward emotion, but it does recognize authenticity." You could see it. A flicker on Diddy's face. Hope, regret, both? The judge looked out across the room now, their voice lower, slower. "But I must also weigh the pain in this room, the unanswered questions, the victims who never got an apology, never got a moment of truth." Then they motioned to the gallery, right to the people behind Diddy. The ones he never saw at his parties, never saw on stage, never looked at when the fame was flowing. "Do they deserve to be silenced by a slideshow?" the judge asked. "By a celebrity letter? By a moment of tears?" You could hear the sniffles now, murmurs, silent outrage. "Justice isn't about who you are when cameras are watching," the judge said. "It's about who you are when no one's looking." And for years, Mr. Combs, no one was looking. And then, boom! "Before I sentence you, let me ask one final question." The room froze. Every phone, every pen, every heart paused. The judge leaned forward. "Are you sorry for what you did, or just sorry you got caught?" Gasp, like a real one. Someone dropped their pen. Another reporter clutched her mouth. Diddy looked up, about to speak, but nope. The judge raised their hand. Like, "Don't even try." He froze, mid-breath. That moment, suspended like glass. The judge narrowed their eyes. "I've watched you closely, Mr. Combs. The interviews, the lawyers, the silence, the deflections, and now this. This speech. You're trying to convince us that you deserve less than what the law provides." A guard nudged him forward. He vanished behind the courtroom doors. Those words lit the internet on fire. News channels from CNN to BBC to TMZ were playing it on repeat. TikTok, Twitter, Reels, exploding with theories. Was it real remorse? Was it scripted? Was it way too late? Some said, at least he admitted it. Others were like, nah, not buying it. And then there were those, too little, too damn late. But inside the courthouse, behind the cameras, a whole different conversation was happening. Leaked sources revealed Diddy's legal team had been desperately trying to strike a deal, right up to the very end. Rehab programs, public apologies, massive donations, even a televised forgiveness tour. The judge didn't budge, said it straight, "This case isn't for sale." And that's when it all clicked. The coldness, the fire in the judge's words, the look on Diddy's face when the sentence dropped. He knew there was no back door, no secret deal, no escape hatch. For the first time in his career, Sean Diddy Combs had no control. No edit button, no spin. He had entered the one room he couldn't manipulate, a courtroom. And in that courtroom, justice didn't flinch. Outside, pandemonium. News vans lined the block, reporters yelling into mics, protesters and fans separated by barricades, screaming, one side chanting for justice, the other crying conspiracy. Then the doors opened. 2 U.S. Marshals escorted Diddy out, shackled. No sunglasses, no entourage, no black SUV, just a black transport van. No luxury, just the law. Cameras flashed like fireworks, people screamed his name, some in hate, others still begging for selfies like this was still the red carpet. But Diddy, he didn't look up, didn't wave, just walked, slow, head down, like he was already counting the steps toward his cage. Then, one final punch, A boy, maybe 12 years old, sat on his father's shoulders in the crowd, holding a handmade cardboard sign. Legends don't hurt people. From behind the tinted glass of the van, Diddy turned his head, just slightly. He saw it. Then the door slammed shut. Inside the courthouse, the judge quietly removed their robe. A clerk asked if they wanted to make a statement to the press. They didn't even pause. The sentence is the statement, the judge said, before disappearing behind their chamber's door. What happened next? Oh, you know, the world lost its mind. Memes everywhere. 1 minute, Diddy's mugshot was on fake Monopoly cards. The next, heartfelt essays from artists who said, "He saved my life," and broke it too. Talk shows ripped the sentence apart. Legal analysts debated it. Fan bases mourned. Critics cheered. But no one could deny it. History had just happened. This wasn't just a celebrity downfall. It was a collapse of an empire. A legacy. Shattered. It forced everyone to question the blurry line between brilliance and cruelty, fame and impunity. Music stations began scrubbing his songs. Brands deleted campaigns. Award shows? Dead silent. Sean Diddy Combs didn't just go to prison. He was erased from the world he once ruled. But quietly, away from the headlines, something else stirred. A generation of kids who had grown up watching Diddy rise like a god now saw something else. That even a king can fall. That power has limits. That justice, slow though it may be, can still roar. Because this story, it wasn't just about Diddy. It was about silence, about survivors, about systems. It was about who gets to walk free and who doesn't. As the black van rolled out of sight, taillights fading into the city's glow, the crowd was still shouting, divided, raw. But one thing was clear. This wasn't just a verdict. It was a moment. And now, the world waits to see what happens next.